Hey, what's up, magical people? This is Unique Divination, and this is part 3 of the Fool's Journey. We left off at the Hermit, and we're going to commence at the Wheel of Fortune. After much soul-searching, the Fool begins to see how everything connects. He has a vision of the world's wondrous design, its intricate patterns and cycles. The Wheel of Fortune is a symbol of the mysterious universe whose parts work together in harmony. When the Fool glimpses the beauty and order of the world, if only briefly, he finds some of the answers he is seeking. Sometimes his experiences seem to be the work of fate. A chance encounter or a miraculous occurrence begins the process of change. The Fool may recognize his destiny in the sequence of events that led him to this turning point. Having been solitary, he feels ready for movement and action again. His perspective is wider, and he sees himself within the greater scheme of a universal plan. His sense of purpose is restored. The Fool must now decide what this vision means to him personally. He looks back over his life to trace the cause and effect relationships that have brought him to this point. He takes responsibility for his past actions so he can make amends and ensure a more honest course for the future. The demands of justice must be served so that he can wipe the slate clean. This is a time of decision for the Fool. He is making important choices. Will he remain true to his own insights? Or will he slip back into an easier, more unaware existence that closes off further growth? Undaunted, the Fool pushes on. He is determined to realize his vision, but he finds life is not so easily tamed. Sooner or later, he encounters his personal cross, an experience that seems too difficult to endure. This overwhelming challenge humbles him until he has no choice but to give up and let go. At first, the Fool feels defeated and lost. He believes he has sacrificed everything, but from the depths, he learns an amazing truth. He finds that when he relinquishes his struggle for control, everything begins to work as it should. By becoming open and vulnerable, the Fool discovers the miraculous support of his inner self. He learns to surrender to his experiences rather than fighting them. He feels a surprising joy and begins to flow with life. The Fool feels suspended in a timeless moment, free of urgency and pressure. In truth, his world has been turned upside down. The Fool is the hanged man, apparently martyred, but actually serene and at peace. The Fool now begins to eliminate old habits and tired approaches. He cuts out non-essentials because he appreciates the basics of life. He goes through endings as he puts the outgrown aspects of his life behind him. The process may seem like dying because it is the death of his familiar self to allow for the growth of a new one. At times, this inexplorable change seems to be crushing the Fool, but eventually, he rises up to discover that death is not a permanent state. It is simply a transition to a new, more fulfilling way of life. Since embracing the Hermit, the Fool has swung wildly back and forth on an emotional pendulum. Now, he realizes the balancing stability of temperance. He discovers true poise and equilibrium. By experiencing the extremes, he has come to appreciate moderation. The Fool has combined all aspects of himself into a centered whole that glows with health and well-being. The Fool has come a long way in realizing the harmonious life. This will conclude part 3 of the Fool's journey, and we'll pick up the rest in part 4. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys think.